One of the biggest barriers to content marketing is sourcing your content creation. Most people instantly picture themselves writing articles, learning how to shoot and present in videos, and creating, learning, and producing podcasts. I'm sure that seems daunting, but believe it or not, individuals actually manage this entire process themselves, up to the level of big names like Mark Rober, a YouTube content creator with over 22 million followers who still edits and produces all of his content himself. So you can do it, but we're not going to make you do that if you don't want to. For the purposes of this video, we're not going to be talking about sourcing in terms of editing and optimizing content, we're just talking about sourcing the information itself. We break content sourcing into three categories: internal, paid external, and unpaid external. Internal sourcing means that you're producing the content yourself, or one or more of your staff is doing it for you. I recommend that you start with internal sourcing if you have any bandwidth at all. While it may take some time and effort to get rolling, your understanding of your product, services, brand, and core competencies will make your content more professional and more helpful than any outside producer can create. Plus, you'll know what it takes to produce content, which will give you a huge advantage when it comes to managing external content sourcing. And you never know, maybe it'll be easier than you might expect, and you might actually enjoy it. Now let's talk about external sourcing. For my businesses in the past, and especially for digital marketer itself, external sourcing of content creation is necessary to reach both our content production goals and provide tactical knowledge that can only be created by people who are currently producing and selling marketing services. External content sourcing can massively increase your content variety while decreasing your workload, but controlling the flow of content and the relationships with your subject matter experts can be tough. Here, we'll give you a few tips. The most obvious way people think of sourcing content externally is to pay for it, but that doesn't have to be the case. If your brand has enough authority, or at least enough perceived authority, you can ask external subject matter experts to create content in exchange for exposure to your followers, which may be much more valuable than anything you can reasonably pay. How do you know if you have enough authority to request free content from external sources? As with most things in marketing, it depends on your market. The best way to find out how much authority is enough is to refer to your competitors and the top brands in your industry. The thought process behind this is pretty simple. If the subject matter expert wants to gain exposure by contributing content, where would their efforts go the furthest? Would it be with your brand or your competitors? You want it to be with your brand because you can provide them with the best exposure. If you think it's going to be with your competitor brand, then you might not be able to attract them. Either way, give it a shot. So why would you want content contributed by outside experts anyways? Here are just a few benefits you gain from outsourcing content generation. You take some of the workload off of your internal team, allowing them to focus on content optimization versus content creation. You'll gain ideas and concepts that you wouldn't come up with on your own, creating a greater variety of content to your mix. You'll ideally gain exposure to the audience of the contributor, which can help you rapidly expand your own influence and authority. The bigger their audience, the better. A digital marketer, we've created a flow of incoming content that amounts to 20 to 30 pieces per month. Prior to using external sourcing at Digital Marketer, I used the same method to generate 30 to 50 pieces per month for magazines and content platforms that I've built in the past. Now that you have an idea of why you want to use external sourcing, let's talk about who you should generate the content from. Good external contributors have similar qualifications. Based on our experience working with hundreds of experts, here are traits that they will ideally have. They have a minimum amount of followers on one or more of your desired platforms. The dog food test in this case is typically 1,000 followers, assuming that they primarily post about the subject you'd like them to contribute content for. They have an active newsletter. Content creators are usually good at email marketing. This is fantastic for your brand because they'll be more likely to gain instant engagement with the content they send you. Again, it depends on your industry, offer, and customer avatar, but the dog food test here is at least 500 subscribers. They direct traffic to platforms outside of their own. A quick review of their social media feeds will show you how often they promote links to content they've contributed to other platforms. What you don't want is for them to send you information they publish elsewhere because they'll be less likely to promote your piece. Watch the next video to learn more about content contributors and how to best manage them. And if you're still curious to see how outsourcing works, check out our channel and see our contributors in action.